Hey all, and welcome back to Sunshine. We're continuing today with the missions in Noki Bay.
I take it you're not going to get the turbo nozzle until after we're done with this level?
That is correct. I like my consistency, Tom.
Oh, son of a bitch. And I did ask for consistency. You know, I appreciate that in my co-commentator, so I'll reap what I sow for now, I guess. So, what are we doing in this particular episode?
Well, today we've got a couple of very slow-paced missions here, so might take a while to get through this one.
So, slow-paced missions in a slow-paced level with some slow-paced music.
Yeah, a trifecta of slow paces.
Oh, trifecta, fancy. Are these cheap-cheeps? Because they seem surprisingly adept at surviving in purple drink.
Yeah, I think they are cheap-cheeps, but they look kind of different in this game. It's really just Sunshine's art style that messes with how they look in this one.
Yeah.
So we uncorked the waterfall, but the area around the bay is still polluted, unfortunately. So Mr. Fisherman here has a couple ideas about what to do, but first he's giving us a reward.
He's not really going to catch anything with a fishing rod that short, unless the cheap-cheeps are really stupid, and judging by past experiences, we know they are.
The, lure, actually, the hook on the end of his line, reminds me of the earring in Twilight Princess that you use to catch the reekfish.
That's a good point, yeah.
I'm not sure which came out first, Sunshine or Twilight Princess. I wouldn't say this, because Twilight Princess had the Wii version as well.
Yeah, that was a dual release, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Now, I like this part of the mission, the platforming, but when we get up to the top, it's just another rehash.
Yeah, it's a very bad rehash as well, as we'll see.
As you were going towards that blooper, I half expected you to do a spin attack against him. I still got Galaxy on the mind, I guess.
Well, it's not a bad game to have there. Now, if you're trying to wall jump through these paths and you're up against the back wall, Mario won't be able to wall jump for whatever reason. Like, he gets caught on the back wall while trying to hit the side walls as well.
I noticed you're doing a little speedrunning strat back there where you did a butt stomp.
Yeah, just to avoid having to slide down the wall, just because it looks awkward.
Now, we've covered Gooper Blooper before, and I seriously hope this is his final appearance, so I guess I'll talk about my opinion of Noki Bay, since I didn't get a chance to last time. It's a decent looking level, like, it's very pretty. It's probably one of my least favourite in the game, and that's because, as Spar explained, it's kind of the trifecta of boring. The missions aren't that great, just the overall level layout isn't that exciting, and the music's very dull and slow-paced. It's calming, don't get me wrong, and it's the perfect thing you want when you go to a beach environment, but I think that's where my main problem with Sunshine lies, and it's nothing to do with the story, stupid as it is, as we covered in part 6. It's nothing to do with the gameplay, because it's actually quite a fun game to play if you focus on nothing but the gameplay. It's the fact that when you base your whole game around a single gimmick, like FLUDD and the water mechanics, the levels themselves kind of have to follow suit. So in every single level, bar, say, Corona Mountain, for obvious reasons, there's going to be some element of water there, and this leads to trope repetition and trope stagnation, which is something Galaxy, and I guess 64 as well, never had to worry about, because they could have water levels, fire levels, grass levels, etc, etc, but even in levels like Bianco Hills, you'd have grass and water. Water's always got to be there because of FLUDD.
Yeah. Sonic Colors has a bit of that problem with the wisps, because the levels are focused around using them. So when you get to the end of the game and you've got all the red rings and you unlock Supersonic, the levels actually change to fit Supersonic because he can't use the wisps.
Now, I never got Supersonic, but I gotta say that's a really cool mechanic.
Yeah, it's a lot like in Kingdom Hearts 1, where if you go different places in order, you get different cutscenes with the Princesses of Heart.
And also, just in terms of Kingdom Hearts, if you somehow manage to skip to Hollow Bastion and beat Maleficent, then go to Olympus Coliseum, you'll actually get the cutscene with Hades basically talking to himself.
Yeah, Maleficent won't show up there at all.
Kind of funny.
Now, this mission is It's short. It's the shortest one in this video, but it's one of my least favorite in the entire game because it introduces one of my least favorite mechanics, which is the massive underwater levels, and the controls are absolutely awful.
Yeah, I seem to recall them being a bit unwieldy.
You go up by using FLUDD's hover nozzle, and you just fall down because gravity, water, buoyancy, physics things. But turning is the big problem because you turn really slowly in the water, and it's just really, really difficult to control at the worst of times, as you can see here.
Yeah, now this is not really what I expected Atlantis to look like. It's not really all that grand. It's just a bottle floating in like some nameless void.
Yeah, we're in a jar floating in the sky. I mean, come on, you're getting lazy with the red coins missions now. At least the Sandbird was part of the level.
What were they thinking? The only real obstacle here is these really obnoxious cheap alikes. I think there's like a hidden thing here, like a book. Do you go and check that out?
No, I don't, because I've seen it and there's kind of nothing there. One of the little alcoves under this marble or whatever has a door, and if you use Mario's over-the-shoulder camera to look behind the door, you'll see a book. And the book doesn't do anything. There's no way to get back there unless you're hacking. And it's just nothing there, and I don't know why it's there.
Oh, Nintendo loved to do that back in that era, especially on the N64. Stop and swap, ring any bells, although technically that was rare. Oh, but I want the turbo nozzle!
We'll have it soon, Tom.
Good. Seriously though, that was one of my favourite pastimes, just using the turbo nozzle to surf around the bay and whatnot.
Yeah, the big thing about the turbo nozzle is that if you're using it on the water, you never run out.
Yeah.
Because you just continually take it back in.
And it's fun as a moossucker.
Yeah, it is. It reminds me of the boost mechanic in the recent Sonic games, actually. Maybe Sega took a little bit of inspiration there.
Yes, from Mario Sunshine, the premier 3D Mario game.
Well, it's time to finally go clear out the pollution here. And we've got one of the more interesting and yet tedious boss fights. I don't really know how to feel about it.
Well, in terms of scariness, it's kind of a step down from one particular obstacle, we'll call him, in 64, and you can probably guess what I'm talking about just from that description, especially since this game is over 10 years old at this point.
I was going to say, we're being a bit vague about what it is, but I think everyone knows what this boss is.
Yeah, I have a tendency to be vague about things that have been out for a long time. That's mostly to try and like preserve new players' experiences of the game, but it's kind of silly, I do apologise.
I think at this point, if you're going to play Sunshine, you kind of already have.
I would love a high-definition version of Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Sunshine HD for the Wii U, that'd be grand.
You know what I would like? HD Luigi's Mansion.
Oh! Oh! Yes, it's a me, Luigi, let's go!
I think Dr. Luigi was actually released on the eShops a couple days ago.
Yeah, both shops.
So this area is the ancestral home of the Nokis. This is, I guess, where they started from, and then they migrated up to the bay. But Mr. Eelymouth down here has come and invaded the place with his gingivitis.
Yes, the dreaded disease. The slow descent adds tension, I gotta say, but at the same time it's kind of tedious because you just like, let me get to the bloody boss fight.
It's a big problem in this fight, yeah, just the tedium of having to float downwards, and it's increased and made worse by the fact that you have to use FLUDD to clean off his teeth, but using FLUDD makes you go up, so then you gotta float back down to hit him again.
Why can't you point the hover nozzle up to make yourself go down? That don't make a lick of sense.
That's a good point, I never really thought about that. You'll notice that some of his teeth will stay in, but as you're cleaning them, some of the teeth will fall out after you clean them as well.
I'm just reading the Mario wiki for this, and the German version, I'm not even going to try and pronounce after my horrible escapades in Rico Harbor, but the translation is amazing. From plumber to dentist.
That's great.
Yeah.
That'll be the next Dr. Mario, Dentist Mario.
I will buy every single copy, yes, even all the digital ones, even though that shouldn't be possible.
The 8th mission in Noki Bay actually has you come back here, and it's a red coin mission. But it's interesting because rather than just going around and collecting them in, static locations, the red coins and the normal yellow coins form the shape of a fish, which swims around the area, and you have to chase it around and get all the coins, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was pretty cool. Just before we run out of time in this mission, what was your experience with the eel in Mario 64? Does it still haunt your every waking dream?
I never got that far in 64, actually. I got maybe 12 stars and got bored.
Dude, Jolly Roger's Bay can be accessed after, what, 5 stars or so?
I just never played it. I am the pleb.
Well, there's that anecdote flying out of the window. Using the turbo nozzle, no less.
These purple bubbles, if you actually hit them with FLUDD, they release some air, which will refill your meter automatically, so you don't have to go get the coins.
Where's Mario's oxygen tank, if I may ask? He's just basically wearing a fishbowl on his head.
He's wearing the bowl, which really shouldn't help him at all, but I guess there's some kind of air bubble that lets him breathe normally. And speaking of normally, there would normally be a cutscene here for Elimouth spitting out his tooth, but the game decided it didn't want to cooperate, so we've got a bit of a glitch. I just thought it was interesting and decided to leave it in.
Yeah, the Shine appearing cutscene didn't happen either. That's really odd. Damn it, Spar, stop breaking games!
I can't control it!
Well, we'll see if you can control getting the turbo nozzle in Part 9. See you all then.